Hey everyone, welcome along to this episode of Manifest Creative, the place where we manifest your life creatively. My name's Catherine Eggins, and today I would love to talk about how to manifest a healthy body, or to even just manifest the body that you want. Now, I'll start by saying part of this may be very confronting. If you're currently in a place where you're not happy with your body or your health is not that great, this may trigger you, this information, but I can honestly tell you I have been there. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be really unwell. I was like that for 18 years. And through following this technique, I've turned my life around. I've gone from being very, very sick to being very, very well. So I'm very excited to share this with you. And I truly hope that you do take it on board and you can start taking steps to turn your health around. Now, my story quickly was I had stage 4 endometriosis for 18 years. Now, when you're diagnosed with that, you're told it's incurable. And that's where the mindset starts, that it's incurable. I'll have this for the rest of my life. And if you stay in that, then you can never get better. You've really got to look outside of that. So it's going, okay, respecting the doctor's opinion, but going, yes, okay, I'm going to work on my mindset, because that's where it all starts. Mindset, doing the inner work. And that's the whole thing with manifesting. It doesn't matter what you want to manifest, it all starts with the inner work. So that's what we're going to look at today. Now, I eventually, after 18 years, got fed up with being sick, fed up with carrying around emotional trauma, and I went and saw a kinesiologist. And that's who helped me through it. It was this wonderful woman by the name of Marion, and she got me through it. But it was also that I was at a point where I was ready to actually hear what she had to say and to take responsibility for my health. Your health, really, the way it's working out, the way your life is working out, that is all your responsibility. And the moment that you take 100% responsibility for it and go, hey, you know what, I've created all of this, but I have the power to change it all, that's when your life starts to change too. So step one, take responsibility. Now, the next one is to actually get to the reason why you have this illness. Now, for me, it was an emotional trauma that happened when I was 20, and it was a form of abandonment. So I carried that with me of living in the past and waiting for things to change, hoping for things to change, saying, why me, living in victim mode, until I found the gift. Once I found the gift in it, and it was actually the thing of, you know, there are certain people in your life that they need to move away from you. And, you know, this happened to me, and it was like, you know, why me, and why is this happening to me? But life happens for you. It doesn't happen to you. And the gift for me was the growth that I got from it and the strength. So regardless of what your situation is, have a look at why, whether it's abandonment or not feeling worthy or doing too much for people. This is a great one of giving too much of yourself and not receiving. If you just give all the time, then you've got nothing for yourself. You need to replenish yourself as well. So make sure if you're a giver that you do actually allow yourself to receive and allow other people to give to you. So this happens a lot with women, where they give to their children and, you know, their husband, and everybody else comes first, and then they pick up the scraps at the end, you know, whatever's left. You actually need to take time out for yourself and to do things for yourself. Now, I've seen people who have passed on from having cancer, and they were givers and they just gave all the time. They never actually allowed themselves to receive. And then there are other people who've actually gone, you know what, I'm there for you, but I need to do this for me first. You know, it's the classic thing when you're on an aeroplane and they say, put your mask on first in case of emergency, put yours on first, and then attend to other people. It's the same thing. It's, you know, the thing that's come up a lot when I've done talks on this is, oh, but that's being very selfish. You know, we're taught that it's not right to be selfish. It's selfish to be selfish. When in actual fact, you need to have some form of selfishness in that you need to look out for yourself first. And that comes with tuning in, of actually tuning in and going, you know, if somebody says, can you help me with this? Tune in and see if it feels right for you. Because if you say yes to somebody else, you don't want to be saying no to yourself. So just ask yourself, am I saying no to myself if I say yes to them? And if it is a case of saying no, then you're within your rights to say no to that person. They will find their way. They will find another way. They're not relying wholly and solely on you. And once you realise that it is okay to look out for yourself, and that could be something as simple as going, hey, I've set aside this time for me to actually sit down and read a book, and that's what I really want to do. If that's what you want to do, then do that, because you need to look after your soul. And a lot of illness comes from not looking after your soul, not listening to your soul, not doing what makes you happy. Staying in a job that you don't like, staying in a relationship that's not going very well. And that's a whole nother video, that one, because you've got to actually get to the bottom of why something's not working, rather than just leave it, because otherwise you're just taking that baggage with you. But we'll talk about that another time. But you want to listen to your soul and do what's right for your soul, because otherwise you do get sick. Ailments with the throat, they can be from not speaking up, not speaking your mind, but it can also be judgment of yourself or judgment of somebody else. So once you get in tune with your body and what you're thinking and feeling and how things are affecting you, and if you're being true to yourself, then you can start to get on top of your health. Now, the next thing that you want to do after you've found the gift and you've got to the bottom of why you're not well, it's aligning yourself with health. Now, one of the things when I was unwell was I was actually scared of being well. It sounds like a really, really strange thing, but now that I think back, when I was unwell, I had an excuse, I had a reason, I didn't have to commit to anything, there was no responsibility whatsoever. And it was a safety net, so that if somebody asked me to commit to something, could you do this, or would you like to do this, I could very well go, no, I'm sorry, I don't know how I'm going to feel, there may not be a chair there to sit down on, and things like this. And I was afraid that when I took that safety net away, that if I was well, then I would have to make these commitments and I'd have to take responsibility. And that was a really big deal. That kept me unwell, because I looked forward to having this safety net. But then once I found the alignment, now this is the interesting part with the alignment, was my kinesiologist, Marion, she asked me the question, do you like being sick? And initially I thought, that's a really silly question, who likes being sick? And she said, I know it sounds silly, but really have a think about it. Do you like being sick? So I tuned in. It was one of the very first times that I'd really tuned in around being unwell. And I said, you know what? I do like being sick. And it was because of all those things. It was the safety net things. But I was also to the point where I was fed up with being sick and I just wanted to be well. And as soon as I had that realization, I felt a shift, a physical shift go across my body. And from that point on, I could feel my body healing. Now, if I hadn't have experienced it, I probably wouldn't have believed it, but that is how quickly you can manifest something, how quickly you can turn something around, is by simply changing your alignment to go from being aligned with being unwell to being aligned with being well. And just when you're aligned, it's a done deal. That's it. That's how it is. Whatever you're aligned with, that's how it is. So you can turn your health around, but you have to want to. You have to get to the bottom of like how it's serving you. What benefit are you getting out of being sick? What's caused it in the first place? What do you need to deal with? And finding the gift in why this has happened to you and what you've learned from it and how you can grow from it, and allow yourself to move on. Allow yourself to be well. It's I saw it a lot when I was personal training, that as soon as people, and even with my yoga classes, as soon as people start to make progress, they put up a roadblock, because there's a fear of, they might actually achieve good health, or they might actually master what they're doing, and they, all of a sudden they'll get catch a cold or be sick for a few weeks, and so they go back to where they were. It's all to do with comfort zone. So if you really tune in, really ask yourself a lot of questions and get to the bottom of why you're sick, because nature, if you look at nature, if you look out there and you look at the animals, everything it's all balanced. It all just works. And this is the thing, is that we are a product of nature. Your body is a product of nature. So why should things be difficult? Man makes things difficult, and man is looking for all the answers externally when all the answers are internal. So when you can grasp that and you can take responsibility and start being honest with yourself as to what's going on in your inner world, when you do that and you do the inner work, everything else just falls into place. You know, you need to take aligned action and that kind of thing. So with exercise, honestly, exercise is, it doesn't have to be this brutal thing. If that's not your thing of going hard and doing really hard exercise, then that's fine, because you want to do things that you enjoy, that push your comfort zone a little bit, but that you actually enjoy doing. And when you exercise in an aligned way, it's no effort at all. You know, yes, you're putting in effort. You need to put in effort and push your comfort zone boundaries to actually get results. But it's no effort at all. The aligned action just flows. You want to do it, and you want to be well, and you want to eat well, and you want to exercise, and once you're in it, it's just so amazing. But getting to that point, you really need to do that inner work, and you have to want it. Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. Leave some comments below and I'll come back later and check them. If you've got any questions, please ask, because this is one area that I'm really passionate about, because I have had such amazing results. I honestly didn't know when I was unwell that you could be so well. And this was another thing too, that once I did actually start to heal and recover, I was part of a support group that I really needed at the time that I was unwell. But once I started to get well, I actually had to move away from that support group, because I wanted to be here and they wanted to stay here. And it didn't matter how much I spoke to different people saying, hey, you know, this can, if you try this, it can, you know, help you to get well and all that. They wanted to stay here. They actually ran away from me. So even though I was just so passionate about it, I just really wanted to help them. I wanted for them what I was achieving for myself, but they just weren't ready for it. So I had to let them be. But for me, that meant moving away from them. So you may even need to look at that. If you're part of a support group and you want to be well, you need to move away from that support group and then start being around the people who you want to be like. And this is the thing, you can't stay with the people that are holding you back. You've got to move in with the people who are where you want to be. So let me know your thoughts. Love to hear from you, and I shall see you next time. Bye.